Katie Bratcher, a ceramic artist, wanted to cross the line between sculptural and functional. Early during her college career, a professor had stated that an object wasn't classified as art unless it was non-functional. Frustrated with this statement, Bratcher has set out to play on the line between function and sculpture in an attempt to change the definition of art. With a bit of humor and irony, Bratcher began creating pieces representing figures that wouldn't typically be used for eating and drinking. Beginning to think about the human form and its different aspects, she began to think about the body as a vessel and as a piece of art. For the most part, the only part of the human form that people are aware of is what's shown on the outside. Everyone has vital organs and uses them constantly every day, although the level of awareness of our own bodies is much less than it should be. This inspired Bratcher to create a serveware set representing some of the most vital organs of the body. Throughout history, representation of the body has been a timeless subject in art. Leonardo da Vinci was famous for some of the images that he drew of the body and the organs within. As long as medical history has been recorded on paper, illustrations have been drawn to show the examples and representations of the human body. Both as a teaching tool and as a reference to those in the medical field, these drawings are still life with incredible detail. The body has continued to show up in art, possibly since it's the most commonly shared shape across the population. Students, studio artists, and graphic artists alike use the body and its organs as a subject. Body World, a globally known exhibit, has taken molds and models of human cadavers and made several sculptures showing the human body and its organs at work. Feminist artist Judy Chicago used a specific organ to celebrate women's achievements in time. She created 39 place settings, each representing the vulva of an important yet overshadowed woman in time. The place setting you see here on the lower right is Judy Chicago's rendering of Georgia O'Keeffe's vagina, seated next to Virginia Woolf. Beginning with the heart, Bratcher transformed the most vital organ in the body to a functioning teapot. Using porcelaneous stoneware, the form was rejuvenating and inspiring towards creating the rest of the set. Salt and pepper shakers represented vertebrae bones. Glaze was used to enhance the disc area between the bones while leaving the stoneware plain, making the piece appear more bone-like. The brain is the next of the completed pieces. Acting as a serving bowl, the lid has an abnormal shape, which complements the wrinkles of the brain. Detail on the underside makes for an unexpected surprise, while also being a delight for the anatomically educated user. The next vessel of the set is the stomach. With an intestine handle, this picture is complete with an ulcer and folds near the spout for a great representation of the actual organ. Being the best size for larger servings, the lungs became the perfect serving plates. Detail through the alveoli and the air passages make the form more representative, and the glaze will be a fleshy pink color. These kidneys became small serving bowls with removable lids. When the idea of the body table setting was created, Bratcher began planning it as a male. As the idea progressed, her serveware went through a sex change. Both functionally and figuratively, the female parts seemed to better serve the beauty of the set. This uterus became a serving dish with fallopian tube handles. And what table setting would be complete without a vagina butter dish? With a vagina handle as the lid, this is an aerial view of that butter dish. As for dinner plates, Bratcher put a great deal of thought into what would be the best organ to represent. Keeping in mind the placement of the body versus a dinner table, she chose muscles. For those seated at one end of the table, shoulder muscles with a slight bit of pectorals are the dinner plates. For the other end of the table, the dinner plates are thigh muscles. These bony fingers will hold cup section of a wine glass. When glazed, the glaze will only cover the base while leaving the fingers plain, like the bone from the salt and pepper shakers. To unify the set, a table will be created out of a 4 by 8 foot, quarter-inch thick piece of plexiglass. It will be cut into a shape of a 7.5 foot woman with 3 foot shoulder span, and will be melted at the ankles, knees, and shoulders. The form will look a bit like the bridge stance in gymnastics, but will use all of the space between the top of the head and the knees as the tabletop. With all the organs laid in their respective places on the table, Bratcher considered the placement of a dinner table as well. All the pieces you see that are colored have been through the glaze firing and are finished pieces. The pieces that are still white have been through the first firing, called the bisque, and have to still go through the glaze kiln. In the glaze firing, the pieces will shrink approximately 10% and will look a bit more appropriate compared to the size of the already completed pieces. To best represent the organs, Bratcher researched each organ and its form. While making each piece, the function and appearance were two of the most important factors. Bratcher made each form as similar to the original organ as possible while keeping in mind the action of eating from the vessel. She considered smoothness of the plate surface for cutting purposes, spout shapes for easy pouring, and handle sizes as just a few of the aspects that make these vital organs into serving dishes. Decoration with slip trailing and carving made to represent veins, alveoli, and other details of the organs were possible. Lids adorn the serving bowls to keep the foods fresher between the kitchen and the dining area. The proportion of some of these parts were exaggerated slightly to make it easier to use at the dinner table. And the glaze and the natural clay color will both be factors to use in the appearance of the pieces. The glaze will seal the pieces from food and liquid as needed, as well as adding color. As the table setting comes together, Bratcher hopes to cross the line between function and sculpture, as well as push the boundaries to what she's always learned to be the definition of art. Through making a sculptural set that is a bit more educational, she hopes to engage the audience through the gallery viewing, as well as at the dinner table. Thank you.